This is a photograph of the master of the heavens and the earth, Panabab Yanun. Look closely at him as he stands in the Magaraj. The green light is coming right out of his third eye. He's healing someone. Praise the Lamb of the Most High. Time to reopen your third eye. Are commercial advertisers programming you through your third eye? Let's reopen yours and see. Take a walk with your brother, Amun. If you watch closely, you'll notice that these are two Hindus, at least 7 etheric beings. As the Master said, they can make it up to the dimensional shift. This hole in the ceiling represents the vortex being open. The ladder is Jacob's ladder, or your spinal column. The Caucasus woman on the bottom, being 6 ether, she can't make it up Jacob's ladder, so she's a fallen angel and can't make the shift, so it hurt when she fell from heaven. Let's take another look.
That should just about do it.
Excuse me? What are you doing?
Well, we're fine-tuning these small cells that improve coverage, capacity, and quality of the network.
It means you'll be able to post from the break room.
Great.
Did it hurt when you fell from heaven?
A little.
I'm sorry, I have to go.
Oh, okay.
AT&T is building you a better network.
The monkey business illusion. Count how many times the players wearing white pass the ball. The correct answer is 16 passes. Did you spot the gorilla? For people who haven't seen or heard about a video like this before, about half miss the gorilla. If you knew about the gorilla, you probably saw it, but did you notice the curtain changing color or the player on the black team leaving the game? Let's rewind and watch it again. Here comes the gorilla, and there goes a player, and the curtain is changing from red to gold. When you're looking for a gorilla, you often miss other unexpected events. And that's the monkey business illusion. Learn more about this illusion and the original gorilla experiment at theinvisiblegorilla.com.
Around North Tulsa last night, randomly shooting people who were walking or in their yards.
You're watching the most shocking and informative LRJ TV News.
All these shootings took place within 7 hours, and the victims, they range in age from 29 to 50. Police say they are looking for a white man seen driving an older white truck in the area of these shootings.
As taught by Panabab Yanun, straight from the book of Revelations, John was taken up in the spirit, and he saw what was described as an airplane with the teeth of a lion or a tiger. And not in dark speeches, and the similitude of the Lord shall be behold. Wherefore my mind.
Hey, Mom, can Kevin Durant join our Sprint family plan?
Sure, the more people we add, the more we save. Hi, Kevin Durant.
Well, what do you say, KD? You want to be part of my family?
I would love to join, but I can't.
Why not?
Because I'm not really here. You're dreaming.
I'm dreaming?
Yep.
Join a Sprint family.
Part of your heritage, Melanite children. As taught by Panabab Yanun, if you have mixed parents, if the mother's black and the father's white, you're considered Caucasus. But if the father's black and the mother's white, you're considered Nubian. And you can make the dimensional shift and fly up. The white boy that's hanging on the rope next to him is all white, so he falls down to the ground. It hurt when he fell from heaven. He's down with the white woman. But Blake, having a black father, thanks her very much for having a black man. Remember, wake up. He flies up to Malakut.
Greetings, citizen.
Oh,
That is a beautiful and fuel-efficient Kia Optima you've got there.
thank you.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Thank you.
Oh no.
Blake is not good.
Patarak, the actual facts and holy.
DreamWorks Dragons. You can command the ultimate dragon fire. Dragon breath that looks like real fire.
Michael and his angels fought, and the dragon and his angels fought, and there was no more space found for them in heaven. They were cast to earth.
Because of the internet and because you can make contributions over the net, a small amount of cash pooled with others can do an enormous amount of good. You had AOL and Apple, for example, using their
Edgy new ad that has Pepsi apologizing right now. Critics call the online commercial for Mountain Dew racist. So Pepsi has pulled the ad, and ABC's Lindsay Davis is here with more on the provocative marketing campaign that pushed the envelope too far. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, George. Not only are they calling it racist, some are actually calling it the most racist commercial ever.
He's a streetwise renegade cop. He's a fire-breathing goat. But when they get together, you better look out.
They were outside.
This fall, there's only one team that makes the bad guys feel the heat.
Having that dream again.
Dragon and the Pope, same attire, Bible cross, and fundamental beliefs in 911 emergency call. Apollyon, Abaddon. You seem in practice, and
I needed to know what the facts were. But I knew I needed to act. I knew that if the nation's under attack, the role of the commander-in-chief is to respond forcefully.
I'm curious about the pool of molten steel that was found in the bottom of the towers.
I am too.
And
please tell me about it. Have you seen it?
Well, not personally, but eyewitnesses there found huge pools of molten steel beneath the towers, and scientists don't think that the collapse of the building could have melted all that steel. And physics professor analyzed some of the steel, and Stephen Jones, and he found evidence of thermate residue, which would explain how the buildings collapsed by means of pre-planted explosives.
We heard about a development at the convention center, and this morning one of our cameras went in. What you're about to see is pure desperation on the parts of hundreds of citizens, and this tape was indeed edited.
They're telling everybody that we all right, and they're lying. They don't give us nothing.
No, my mother suffers from congestive problems. Her eyes is so gross, and now I need to get her out of here. This is ridiculous.
Living in these deplorable conditions where the state was supposed to take care of us.
do you ever wonder why they found water and food provision and military help and assistance for people on a mountaintop all the way in Iraq so quickly, or for the tsunami victims all the way in Indonesia, wasn't even American citizens, so quickly, immediately?
It's not about rich people, poor people, it's about people. Jesus.
Relax, darling. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
tax-paying American citizens who give life and limb to defend American freedoms. Why do they teach that everybody loves Raymond, but everybody hates Chris?
Why nobody can get no help down here for these people, bro? They got children out here. They got pregnant women out here. They won't even bring water. They won't bring food. You gotta go steal water to drink to survive out here.
We need help, sir. We really do. We need help. They're not doing nothing. They're not telling us nothing. They're not doing nothing. We've been out looking at these old people. They're out here without their medication. They're in wheelchairs. We need help, sir. We really need help.
National Guard, the mayor, they got it up here and left it up here like that.
And just when you think you've seen it all, you go into another situation and you see something horrific. I've never seen anything in my life like this. I never seen any, I can't put it into words, the amount of destruction that it's in this city and how these people are coping. They are just left behind. There's nothing offered to them, no water, no ice, no sea rations, nothing for the last 4 days. They were told to go to the convention center. They did. They've been behaving. The attitude there is unbelievable, how organized they are, how supportive they are of each other. They have not started any melees, any riots, nothing. They just want food and support. And what I saw there, I've never seen in this country. And we need to really look at this situation in this convention center. It's getting very, very crazy in there and very dangerous. And somebody needs to come down with a lot of food, a lot of water. There's no hostility there, so they don't need to be bringing any guns or anything like that. They need support.
Behold the behemoth, the goat, riding the pale horse of apocalypse, because death and hell follows close behind. Remember 9/11.
A 21-year-old by the name of Chavis Carter was the passenger of a pickup truck during a routine traffic stop in Arkansas. They handcuffed him and put him in the back of the patrol car. But what happens next? Let's watch.
As protocol, he was handcuffed behind his back, double locked, and searched.
Handcuffed, double locked, and searched. But somehow, minutes later, police say they heard a thumping noise, turned around, and found Chavis dead, shot in the head in the back of the squad car.
You're watching the most shocking and informative LRJ TV News.
I can't see how. I can't see how.
Hello, I'm LRJ from LRJ TV News. I see how we have exclusive statements from the police department that her son used a magic trick. He magically took his hands from behind his handcuffed back and he shot himself on the right side of his head, even though he was left-handed. And while his brain matter was splashed all over the cop car, he was able to still use that same splattered brain upon a car seat to put his hands back behind his back. Let's go into more of this story here at LRJ TV News.
Handcuffed, double locked, and searched. But somehow, minutes later, police say they heard a thumping noise, turned around, and found Chavis dead, shot in the head in the back of the squad car.
In this stack of paper here, it is telling us that people have been searched by the police 2 times before. Police chief, tell us more about what's going on.
This instance happened to be a gun.
I'm going by the report that's here from the police department. There were several white passengers who was pat down and checked and was free to go.
But on this video that was released, you see the 2 officers standing around questioning the 2 white suspects, whom they later let go.
Now the officers held the one little black boy because he had priors, but they did not tell you that the white folk that was in the car also had priors too. So of course it was not racial intentions. I don't see why you guys always want to use the race card. Yes, the officer has been cleared of all charges.
They were standing on the outside of the car.
When you heard the pop, the doors were open.
On the police car?
The one he had in the back seat wasn't open.
They were closed?
Yes, sir.
I think they killed him. I mean, my son was suicidal.
In fact, she says he called his girlfriend while pulled over to say he would call her shortly from jail. Even more, the mother says she was told her son was shot in the right temple when she says he was left-handed. She says it just doesn't add up.
They searched him twice. I just want to know what really happened.
One of these mornings, it won't be long. You'll look for me, and I'll be gone. I'm going to a place I'll have nothing to do but just walk around heaven all day. When I get to heaven, I'll sing and shout. Nobody will be able to put me out. No, my mother will be waiting, and my father too. We'll walk around heaven all day. Just hear me pray and walk right by my side. When my way grows cloudy, I need you to be my guide. Will have no end. We'll do
comes. Thanks, Kevin. Happy birthday, Grandma.
It's chilly. How does your goat breathe fire?
You know goats. They eat everything.
Do you really believe all these commercials with the behemoth fire-breathing goat is only a coincidence?
It's a hot ticket.
Carjacked a Toyota at gunpoint, slams into a van, and then is shot dead by cops. Exactly what went down? One man has the answer. Mike Sheehan live in East Flatbush.
I can tell you this. An unmarked police car finally pulled up right next to it at 38th Street and Church Avenue, just as the driver lost control and slammed into a minivan. Now, as both cops approached the Toyota, the driver, identified as Chantel Davis, she jumped into the passenger seat of the car. She tried to back it up. That's when a second cop entered the car from the driver's side. With his gun in his right hand, he tried to put the car into park. Seconds later, a single shot rang out. It hit the woman in the chest. She's dead.
Lord was kindled against them, and he departed, and the snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous.
Well, did you know that some owls aren't that wise? Don't forget I'm having brunch with Megan tomorrow.
Who?
Megan, my coworker.
Who?
Seriously, you've met her like 3 times.
Who?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you. Well, you know.
Oh, shit. He is beating her up, yo.
Gosh, what?
Freeway takedown. Driver stunned as a CHP officer repeatedly punches a woman, and now an investigation is underway.
The Bears' number is 9.
You're making a statement too big for words. A statement like this.
The bear is loose.
Maybe you need something more.
It was a routine day out on the National Mall until President Obama decided to go for a walk and surprise some people. The reactions were priceless. Take a look. Come on, guys. Sorry, turn next to 10. You know, it's good to be out. The bear is loose.
What that he eats in a restaurant?
There are 3 sides to Doritos Sweet Chili Heat. Which will you play with?
You know that dream
Hey.
where you're the hero?
You guys mind warm this little fella up for me?
The coast.
We've got a spike in temperature.
So save the day.
Don't worry. I got this.
Wow, that hidden lamb just popped up from nowhere. Or was he sent? And Jill, page 304. Bottom taps here.
I can't believe this. Check the map. The pizzas are getting cold. Hold on. It's over there. No, it's not in my face. No. Check on the map. Cancel that order, guys. All right. Yeah. Let's eat. You want a Coke? No, I'm making a Pepsi. Well, what's the diff? I can't believe you said that.
Tested prefer the taste of Pepsi over Coke Classic.
Another small step for man, a giant leap for mankind. This monkey in the middle had black soldiers in World War II pulling down their pants to prove they didn't have tails like a monkey. Flip-flop, Planet of the Apes.
Earlier this year, a grand jury declined to charge an El Paso police officer in the shooting death of a prisoner. This is from Mediaite. A video of the incident was published on Monday after the Texas Attorney General instructed the city to fulfill a request processed by the El Paso Times. The events of the video are very, very disturbing, unsettling. They show a police officer essentially executing a handcuffed man.
Right, subway means beneath, down, hell. 6 letters, devil tail on both ends. Wake up, all around.
Today, for the very first time, we saw the video that so many have demanded to see for weeks. The surveillance video that shows the moments leading up to and including the officer-involved shooting death of John Crawford III inside the Beaver Creek Walmart August 5th. In the end, a special grand jury decided there should be no criminal charges filed.
The building of the pyramids was the greatest achievement. Tombs that would protect the mummified remains of the pharaohs of Egypt for all eternity.
This is an Eyewitness News special report. A verdict in the Sean Bell trial.
And a very good morning. I'm Ken Rosato.
And I'm Lori Stokes. A judge, Arthur Cooperman, in the trial of 3 NYPD detectives in the Sean Bell case, is in the process, what I understand, actually has announced the verdict of those 3 officers that had various charges, including manslaughter as one of them, to reckless endangerment. We understand that the judge has decided not guilty on all of the charges.
Who? 67 corporations waged the devil's war. See the 360s in Procter & Gamble's beard.
There's something you should know about me. I'm cold. I'm calculating. I get what I want. If you get in my way, I'll wreak havoc upon you. I can leave you weak, limp, twisted, confused. If you want to live to see tomorrow, you answer to me, and you answer quickly. I am.
Go to Mendez, Behemoth, the devil. Leading lambs to slaughter must stop now.
Just after 12 noon, Ferguson, Missouri. The men you see in this exclusive cell phone video hear gunshots. They are about 50 feet away from Michael Brown and Officer Darren Wilson. The unidentified person recording this video captured the witness's reaction during the final moments of the shooting. Both men were contractors working in the area. They did not want to be identified. The man on the left in the pink shirt told CNN they heard 1 gunshot. Then, about 30 seconds later, a second shot. He says he saw Michael Brown staggering. Then he says Brown put his hands up and said, "Okay, okay, okay." The witness told us the cop didn't say get on the ground, he just kept shooting. That same witness described the gruesome scene, saying he saw Michael Brown's brains come out of his head. Again reiterating his hands were up.
Egyptologist Dr. Bob Breyer has a long climb ahead of him. His quest to find out more about the man responsible for the building of something as fantastic, as breathtaking, and as large as the Great Pyramid at Giza.
These are the black gods that the world unknowingly worships.
He was Pharaoh, but also a god on earth. And as a god, he needed a tomb that was the most magnificent creation the human mind could imagine. He needed a pyramid.
Panabab is waking up all the mummies, the modern-day pharaohs.
The furniture that Sneferu had built for his wife is among the most beautiful ever made in ancient Egypt. They are masterpieces of simplicity. The clean lines are straight and elegant. There are no gaudy displays of gilding here. Merely simple gold hieroglyphs to proclaim the Queen's titles.
Remember, remember, wake up, the time is now.
Among them, her beautiful canopied bed were placed in her tomb for her enjoyment in the next world. The ancient Egyptians were resurrectionists. They believed that the body would rise after death and carry on in the next world. And this is the reason for the practice of mummification, a complex religious ritual that took 70 days to preserve a body. It was crucial to protect the mummy from tomb robbers.
It's time now to clear the air and to compound the tragedy of Trayvon Martin. It feels as though some people are now trying to do to him in death what George Zimmerman apparently did to him in life, attributing to this young man a character and a personality that they could not possibly know.
You must remember the Patarak, the actual facts and holy tablets.
Every time you see me, you want to mess with me. I'm tired of it. It's time today.
This guy right here is forcibly trying to lock somebody up for breaking up a fight.
Everybody standing here, they told you I didn't do nothing. I'm minding my business, officer. I'm minding my business. Please just leave me alone. Please, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Hold on.
Listen, don't touch me, please. Do not touch me.
Put your hand behind your back.
I can't breathe. 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 I can't breathe.
Once again, police beating up on people.
We're so dead.
Master of the heavens and the earth, Panabab Yanun, warned us that everyone wouldn't be able to make it across this desert. Here, one of 7 commercials like this, 2 caucasus walking across the sands. Puff Daddy pulls up in an economy car with a white woman driving like Miss Daisy in reverse. He offers them water. They can't accept the role reversal, so they conclude that it must be a mirage. When he drives off, they keep walking as far as they can, and just before they die, they cross a dune, and there he is down there having a party, drinking the sun. He's a Melanite child. Out of character, the sign says revolt. Then another commercial says revolt to his right. One of the white men goes over to try to pick him up to take him with them to hell, but they find out black people are becoming too heavy, so they drop him and go on, and that's when Puff said they're really going to die now. Now watch the news. They're going to do something bad to Puff Daddy. Be proud of your heritage, Melanite children. You are the star people.
We're so dead. Did you just see?
I hate mirages. Come on.
Guys, you want some water? Did he?
You're losing it. Your mind is playing tricks on you.
We're gonna die out here. Oh my, look at that!
No, stop. You're seeing things. It's just a mirage.
Welcome to the soiree.
Are you sure this is a mirage? The Fiat over there has 4 doors. Fiat only makes small cars. It's not real.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's go.
Bye, Diddy Mirage. You're definitely gonna die now.
The all-new 4-door Fiat 500L. Unbelievably big.
I want to take Diddy Mirage with me.
Yeah, don't do that.
This is a war against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wake up, warriors.
I couldn't breathe. My EpiPen auto-injector.
Parkinson's disease.
Leprosy.
Hey, Dad?
Whoa, easy, Chief. All right.
I heard you tell Mom that wires are ugly.
I was talking about the cable wires we used to have dangling from our TVs, but now we have DirecTV, so we don't have to see those wires anymore.
But are my wires ugly?
No, buddy, no. Your wires are what make you, you little man.
Dad!
What? See? You can fly.
Wow, this is awesome!
I can't do that.
Can I help you? Excuse me, hi. I wanted to find out about the unlimited for life guarantee.
Sure. Sprint is guaranteeing unlimited talk, text, and data for life.
Cool. And what if, say, technically you were not alive? Like, maybe you were undead?
Like a zombie.
Whoa, let's not go putting labels on people.
The master warned you about zombies.
Joining us today is Michael Vick.
One of the most fascinating and polarizing sports figures of the past decade. He's written a book detailing his journey through football, dogfighting, prison. It's called Finally Free. It's in stores September 4th. Let's talk to Michael. What would you say was the moment, Michael, that you were most scared?
I make a lot of purchases for my business, and I get a lot in return with Ink Plus from Chase. Like 60,000 bonus points when I spent $5,000 in the first 3 months after I opened my account.
Right, they have fur, just like dogs. They are animals, that is bestiality, and they're extremely angry about that. That's a part of the curse, like the leprosy. They're helpless. The Most High is revealing them. Look at the pigment speed. That's not naps, that's fur. Who's he related to? With him will I speak, my servant Moses, mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches, and the similitude of the Lord shall be behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. From the King James Version of the Bible, Numbers 12, verse 10, most subtle beast of the field.
Do you still think I'm pretty?
Of course I do. What's this about?
Since we got DirecTV, all you talk about is how we can put TVs anywhere without having to look at those ugly wires.
No, baby, I meant the cable wires, not you.
Okay, then. So you like what you see?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Like it?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, that's sort of jazzy.
I know my rights.
Hi and welcome to Elite NWO Agenda on YouTube. On Thursday, Dr. Kent Brantley thought he was going to die. It was the 9th day since the American missionary worker came down sick with Ebola in Liberia. His condition worsening by the minute, Brantley called his wife to say goodbye. But Brantley is back on his feet now, literally, after receiving a last-ditch, highly experimental drug. Another American missionary with Ebola got the same. Brantley's and Nancy Wright-Ball's conditions significantly improved after receiving the medication. Brantley was able to walk into Emory Universal Hospital in Atlanta after being evacuated to United States last week, and White-Ball is expected to arrive in Atlanta on Tuesday. The experimental drug known as ZMapp or ZMapp was developed by the biotech firm MAP Biopharmaceutical, which is based in San Diego. The patients were told that the treatment had never been tried before in a human being, but had shown promise in small experiments with monkeys.
You should be asking yourself, why did they take a whole jet for each one of them and all the empty space that could have been filled with Africans, and they healed just those 2 cockatoos? And then the next question is why won't they give any of this drug to Africans? They only have it for cockatoo people. Now, if you believe that they can't make lemonades, but lemons don't stop growing, Tuskegee, wake up, you sleep.
Hi.
You got dinner already?
Yeah, I swung by Little Caesars. You don't have to call ahead or wait.
At Little Caesars,
Panabab Yanun opened up the vortex for me in 2003, about the time of this commercial. That represents a cockatoo waking up from the spell of Kingu, like many blacks are under. When he goes in there, Abraham Lincoln, the president, is playing chess with life. The beaver is there that cuts up his log cabin lies when he says, I'm truthful. And he says, yeah, all right, whatever. And then there's the man from Planet Risk at the kitchen sink. That is Panabab Yanun. Now watch.
Hey, it's Sleeping Beauty.
I didn't sleep a wink.
I know, we've been waiting for you. Have the chess set already?
He cheats.
Hello, Honest Abe.
Whatever.
We just haven't played for so long.
I know, I just got all this stress at work.
It's cool, it happens to a lot of people.
Really?
Absolutely.
More than half of adults report experiencing some kind of insomnia at least a few nights a week.
We just want you back.
Thanks, guys.
When you can't sleep, you can't dream. That's why there's Roserum.
Parents of that little 8-year-old Dallas boy who was shot in the face talked to us today. They say their son is doing better today.
Donald Maiden Jr., or DJ as he's known, was upgraded from critical condition, but he is still in the hospital and still needs a breathing tube. DJ was shot Tuesday night at an apartment complex in Lake Highlands. Today, DJ's parents described to our Bud Gillette the horror of what happened.
When he ran in, I just screamed. His mouth was just hanging off, and it was just a big hole.
Latamara Laughlin remembers a neighbor urging her to put pressure on her son's mouth.
And I threw him on the couch, and I just laid him in my arms and put pressure on his mouth with the towel.
When I first saw him in ICU, I started crying.
DJ's father was working in Louisiana. The boy was in a medically induced coma when Dad first saw him.
He had opened his eyes, and when I raised back up, he had tears running out his eyes, so it gave me a little bit of spirit in my heart.
DJ was shot out of the blue, according to his mom, by a man driving a pickup truck who'd been hanging around her apartment complex. Police arrested Brian Cloninger and are holding him on a $2.2 million bond. Laughlin says investigators are very helpful, but there is still one huge unanswered question.
I just want to know why. Why?
I don't know what was the reasons or what was the cause.
Be encouraged, God's woman.
zombies, the silver-eyed beings with the black dots, and vampires, body snatchers. What's the connection between them? Is that correct? Where they're coming from?
A sign of the times, a harbinger. You be the judge. Last year, you will remember that I did a video on Pope Benedict releasing a dove of peace on the memorial of the Holocaust.
There are those of you that say they are Jews but are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. Ashkenazim and Sephardim Europeans.
It was attacked.
Ethiopian Falasha are the real Jews.
A seagull swooped in and attacked the dove at this point. The whole crowd witnessed it. A lot of people thought that it was an omen. Well, it wasn't long after this that you had seen Benedict give up his position, and now we have Pope Francis. And really, Benedict is still classified as a pope as well. Now, what is very interesting is that almost 1 year to the day, if this isn't crazy enough, it has happened again. What you see here is Pope Francis in the Ukraine with some children from the Ukraine, letting out doves. This was in St. Peter's Square at the Vatican. And these doves were released and instantly came under attack. And once again, his nemesis, the seagull, was there to attack one of them. The whole crowd gasped. You've seen the feathers fly off of one of these doves. And then a black crow swooped in to attack the other dove. Now, they say they don't know what happened to these doves as they flew off. Chances of them surviving, I think, are slim to none, especially when they're being attacked coming right out the window.
Investigative reporter Jim Hoffer is here now with the new details on the story he broke last night at 11. Jim.
Bill and Liz, the family is stepping up pressure tonight on the district attorney in Westchester County, saying video and audio the DA has obtained show police should be indicted for the fatal shooting of their father. Family and friends stood outside the offices of the Westchester County District Attorney's Office this afternoon, demanding a thorough, unbiased grand jury investigation of the fatal shooting by police of Kenneth Chamberlain.
We're giving Ms. DeFiore's office an opportunity to do the right thing by this family. But I assure you, if it is not done, if there is not an indictment, then we will proceed to the U.S. Attorney's Office to demand a civil rights investigation of this city.
3 months ago, White Plains police responded to a medical alert call that the 68-year-old had accidentally pressed while sleeping. Upon arriving, police claimed they heard an emotionally disturbed Chamberlain screaming inside the apartment.
The officers first used an electronic taser, which was discharged, hit the victim. The officers then used a shotgun, a beanbag shotgun.
Seconds later, police shot and killed Chamberlain. A warranted use of deadly force, they insist. But as we reported last night, audio and video are raising serious questions about the police version of events, according to the family and their attorneys, who recently were allowed to listen and view it.
Did I see anything in the video that would warrant their action? Not at all. My father, when the door was busted down, he was about 8 to 10 feet away from him with his hands down to his side. That's not an aggressive act.
If you are in your home and you are sleeping at 5 o'clock in the morning and law enforcement comes on a medical call, you should not have your door broken down and you should not end up dead.
The son, who has already seen some of that evidence, swears it is proof police used excessive force.
I'm asking that these police officers be brought up on criminal charges.
Police have declined to answer any of our questions about the shooting while it is under investigation. We also requested a copy of the initial incident report through Freedom of Information. Police have also denied that request. Liz?
The zombies, remember the partner back there said that will actually be a result of activity, radioactive activity and things like that will take place on the planet. Because there was debates among the family when the zombie bill first came down that it was metaphor, he didn't really mean, like the guy who ate the guy's face in California. That's what he mean, zombie acting. And Doc was like, no. I mean, coming out the ground, dead, being reanimated, coming out very hungry. I mean, we work with them all day at the plantation, man. It's funny. They come, they like to talk. They always want a black friend, you know. So they come by our little station, and they say, brothers I work with gonna laugh because there's one guy, he walks up, and I swear he has a little invisible guy on his shoulder. So before he says anything to us, he walks up and goes, I got a joke for you today. That's it. I mean, you know, but he made a point to say out of nowhere one time, he has a daughter. See, all the brothers I work with, because he's told all of us the story, and we work different shifts. He makes a point to communicate. My offspring likes their meat, blood, raw.
Evelyn, why do you like raw beef so much?
Because it's good.
What do you like to put on it?
Herbs and salt and sometimes nothing.
And sometimes nothing? What does raw beef taste like? A lot of people have never eaten raw beef.
Well, raw beef tastes like,
raw beef, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which do you like better, raw beef or cooked beef?
Raw beef.
Yeah. What am I having for dinner?
Cooked beef.
But not you.
But not me.
Do you want to show anybody who's going to watch this video what it looks like when you eat it?
Yeah.
Okay, then go ahead, start eating your dinner. Okay, say goodbye to everyone, Evie.
Goodbye, everybody.
Oksana Malaya began her life living with dogs. Rejected by her mother and father, she somehow survived for 6 years, living wild, before being taken into care. There are few cases of feral children who have been able to fully compensate for the neglect they suffered. Oksana is now 22, but her future still hangs in the balance. Have scientists learned enough from previous cases to rehabilitate her? For 6 years, Oksana Malaya spent her life living in a kennel with dogs. Totally abandoned by her mother and father, she was discovered behaving more like an animal than a human child.
We're going to show you some video that is really disturbing, distressful. Police in Hammond, Indiana, smashing a car window and using a taser on the front seat passenger. All of this just starting out from a routine traffic stop over a seatbelt. What may be a little different from some other things you may have seen, 2 kids were in the back seat when all of this happened, and you can hear as this unfolds how traumatized they were. Have a look.
Yes, my mom. No, I'm not making it worse now. I'm scared for my life. Because he just pulled a gun on us and we don't have a gun.
A white shirt. I'm asking for a white shirt. I don't know what's going on. I just gave him my information. I don't know what's going on now.
Right. That's what I'm.
It's who?
Listen. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay?
I don't know what's going on. I never got out of the vehicle from being in the passenger side. You know what I'm saying? I never got.
I gave it to him.
Right.
Okay? Now he asked the man.
Y'all got white shirts here?
That's sitting beside me. He asked
y'all got
his
somebody
ID.
in charge of y'all.
He said he didn't have any ID.
Well, I just gave him my information.
So they asked him, you know, and I said,
I just gave both of them my information. Y'all got my information, right?
I don't have my license. I mean, if you're gonna give me a ticket for no seatbelt, if you're gonna give me a ticket for no seatbelt, right here, then just give me a ticket so I can go to the hospital because the doctor called me to tell me to come in because my mom is about to pass away. All right, so I guess he's looking for his information in his book bag. When he digs in his book bag, they pulls a gun out. What was the purpose of a gun? And now they asking me to open my door so I can get out. I'm scared. If you can pull out a gun in front of it's 2 kids in the back seat.
Do you understand?
Yes.
All right.
No, don't mess now they about to mess no!
I'm not the operator of this vehicle, so if you do that, all right. I'm not the operation of this vehicle. Are you gonna open the door?
Why do you say somebody's not gonna hurt you? People are getting shot by the police.
Oh! Damn!
That was crazy. That is horrible. This is a horrible situation right here. This is, wait, this, are you recording this? Yeah. This is terrible.
Ku Klux Klan Grand Dragon and the Pope, same attire, Bible cross, and fundamental beliefs. Christianity, the cross and the Bible.
I mean, it's absolutely a nightmare.
Shannon Kennedy is a civil rights attorney. Here's the story. Lordsburg resident David Eckert was shopping at this Walmart in Deming. When he left the parking lot, he didn't make a complete stop at the stop sign as he merged into traffic. Police stopped him. What happens next is documented in medical reports, police reports, and now a federal lawsuit.
They say that when he stepped out of his car, he was standing in a manner that looked as if he was clenching his buttocks.
That's right. Suddenly, this was no longer a minor traffic stop. It was an investigation into Eckert's buttock. While they secured a warrant signed by a judge allowing a search of his first, doctors x-rayed Eckert, then penetrated his rectum with their fingers, then performed another exam with their fingers. Doctors then gave Eckert 3 enemas and forced him to defecate in front of them while they searched his stool. All of these things done without consent.
In fairness, the master teachers always taught us that the black devil is most detrimental to us.
In a remote corner of Turkey, 5 unusual siblings come to the attention of the world. Victims of a mysterious condition, pariahs in their village, they now face international scrutiny. And all because of how they walk, on their feet and their hands. Some create a sensation in the popular press, claiming the handwalkers represent a backward stage in evolution.
So that was climbing in the trees and knuckle walking on the ground.
For ancient traits reappearing.
Can a genetic defect make a modern human exhibit ancient characteristics? It can certainly seem that way. People are born with excess hair and monkey-like tails. Or extra nipples, they're even more common. Found, as in dogs, along the so-called milk line running between armpit and groin.
Because the expectation was, very different animals we thought would be built with different sets of genes. But the answer really is no.
Who's likened unto the beast? Who's willing to make spiritual war with the beast?
What you in there, Billy? Is that Hungry Jack's, Billy?
They say the burgers are better at Hungry.
Come on! Something to say, Billy?
Cut. Sorry. Ron, this isn't a part of the script.
No, we got a Hungry Jack's been part of the script! The you looking at?
Welcome to WWPD, where we explore what white people do. Now, this next video, we all know how important dogs are to white people's families. So might as well treat the kids the same way, right? Does the dad really still have the leash on the kid as he's trying to go up the slide? Absolutely.
Exclusive video of the bathroom where police shot and killed a teenager in the Bronx. We also have new security camera video showing what was happening outside Marley Graham's home before that fatal shooting. Fox 5's Nicole Johnson.
This surveillance video shows what happened moments before the shooting death of Marley Graham. See there, he appears to be walking casually into his home and locks the door. Then seconds later, 2 police officers are seen running, trying to kick the door in. With no success, you can see several police officers swarming the house. Then they parade in. Neighbors tell us police entered the back of the house, then went upstairs to Graham's apartment and opened fire. Fox 5's cameras were allowed inside the bathroom where the shooting happened. Still visible traces of blood.
In Charlotte, North Carolina, a man involved in a car accident over the weekend went looking for help and wound up dead. He was shot again and again by a police officer who is now facing criminal charges. Mark Strassman tells us how it all started.
It was 2:30 Saturday morning when 24-year-old Jonathan Farrell swerved off the road in a single-car accident. He climbed out the rear window and knocked on the front door of this house looking for help. The homeowner called 911. 3 police officers responded. When Farrell ran toward them, Officer Randall Carrick drew his gun and shot Farrell 10 times. The dead man was unarmed.
I don't want to bury my son. My son should be buried me.
Georgia Farrell says her son Jonathan respected the police. His sister is a cop.
Singing Mary, oh Mary, don't you weep. Tell Mother not to mourn, don't you mourn. Well, Mary, tell Mother not to mourn, don't you mourn. 'Cause girls are hungry, but don't you know they can drown? Singing Mary, oh Mary, don't you weep. Tell Mother not to mourn, don't you mourn. Well, Mary, tell Mother not to mourn, don't you mourn. Those girls are hungry, don't you know that they drown? Singing Mary, oh Mary, don't you weep. Tell Mother not to mourn, don't you mourn. I want you to know that if I could, I believe that I would. I surely will. Well, I want to put my foot on that right way. Girls are hungry. Don't you know they can drown? Singing Mary, oh Mary, don't you weep. Well, I'm singing Mary, oh Mary, don't you weep. Well, I'm singing Mary, don't you weep. Think I need somebody else to help me. Oh Mary, don't you weep. Oh, sing Mary, oh Mary, don't you weep. I don't think that you heard me that time, Mary, don't you weep. I think we're gonna have to corner just a little bit louder, don't you weep. Sparrow's army's been surrounding the sea, out in the yellow, singing Mary, oh Mary, don't you weep. Tell Mother not to mourn, tell Mother not to mourn.
WooNawooUp.com for all solutions to these problems.
Two new videos surfaced today in the shooting death of a young man New Year's Day at an East Bay BART station by a BART police officer. One witness captured the actual shooting with a cell phone, which you'll see only on Channel 2. Because of the controversial nature of the shooting and the questions surrounding it, KTVU decided to air the video. The video may be key in the case to help shed some light into what happened immediately before the officer fired his gun. But we also want to warn viewers you may find the video disturbing to watch and may want to turn away. KTVU's Ken Pritchett reports.
New Year's Day, as captured on video by 19-year-old Karina Vargas.
You can see this is the BART door. I'm in my BART train. They're pulling these boys out of the train in front of our train.
Vargas was on the same train as 22-year-old Oscar Grant. Grant, along with several other young men, were pulled from the train by BART police officers.
He puts his hands up right here, like telling the cops. They're all being cooperative. They're all telling the cops, okay, 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 and they're just sitting down.
Then her attention turned to an arrest right at her side. That's when she heard the shot. Grant was fatally wounded.
He's not squirming, he's not fidgeting, he's being cooperative. Then they start, you hear the gunshot, turn back, look at his face, he's in pain.
While Vargas did not have a clear view of the incident, another witness with a cell phone camera had a direct view, which showed Grant, at one point, holding his hands up and appearing to cooperate with officers. Moments later, two officers can be seen moving Grant from a seated position against the wall and then onto the floor. Officers positioned Grant face first on the floor with one officer near his head, a second near his back, and a third officer standing nearby. Then, a 2-year veteran BART officer stands, draws his weapon, and fires. After the fatal shot, you can see the officers react to what just happened.
Why did he take his gun out?
We showed the video to John Burris, who represents Grant's family.
It doesn't appear that that was necessary, that they had this person, they had pulled him off from a sitting position against the wall, and then they were wrestling or putting him down, and they were turning him over. Two officers were. One was in his neck area, and the other was straddling over him. And while he was doing that, as if he was reaching for his handcuffs, he reached for his gun.
This video is for everyone and to see. I want to show it to his family. I hope his family sees this. It's for everyone to see that it was not right.
Angie post. Ugh, this stupid AC in this stupid car. It only works on high.
You should do a computer search. Now it's become a trend for the police to systematically stick antennas, plungers, and broom handles up the rectum of brothers.
Want to borrow my brush? Thanks.
Goodbye, everybody.
Wrinkles, brown lines, and sagging skin around your eyes, on your face, and neck can make you look old. Now, Lifestyle Lift makes it possible to look years younger, giving you a natural result that lasts.
I am amazed at the difference a Lifestyle Lift makes.
Look to the sky, listen to the trees. Out on the river, just a man roaming free, searching for that great tasting in Galilee. Gold country, this is gold country.
Great. On February 4th, 1999, an incident took place in the Bronx. It left one innocent man dead and 4 police officers whose lives will never be the same again. I'm Bo Dietl. I'm a former New York City homicide detective, and today we're going to look at one of the most talked about cases in the history of the New York City Police Department.
Police Department, City, New York. Sir, Police Department, City, New York. You see your hands, please. Sir, Police Department, City. Good.
The shooting of Amadou Diallo was a tragedy. But as we look back on the events surrounding that shooting, maybe we can learn enough so that a tragedy like this will never happen again.
It's important to note that everybody knew that Amadou Diallo was deaf and dumb.
The Dearborn Heights Police Department has been the opposite of transparent. You're reporting that the homeowner, the 54-year-old homeowner, shot Renisha McBride.
Well.
17-year-old Jordan Russell Davis was fatally shot and killed by a 45-year-old man by the name of Michael Dunn. Now, apparently, Michael Dunn was in Jacksonville, Florida for his son's wedding, and he pulled up next to a sports utility vehicle. It was a red car, and he noticed that the music was too loud. He couldn't handle the loud music. Authorities say, Jacksonville police, to be specific, say that there was no gun found in the vehicle. They were unarmed, so they don't understand why Michael Dunn shot into the car 8 or 9 times, killing an unarmed 17-year-old.
Well, now to a story that is so similar to the Zimmerman case that the judge in this new trial warned the jury, don't even think about what happened in Florida. A number of potential jurors in Milwaukee who may determine the fate of an accused gunman say they might have a hard time ignoring the Zimmerman parallels. The shooter in this case name is John Spooner. He is 76 years old. Prosecutors in Milwaukee say he gunned down a 13-year-old child, one who he thought stole some guns. Spooner's lawyer says he admits he did shoot the boy, but he didn't mean to kill him. Here's the victim's mother holding a picture of her son. She watched the whole thing happen. She says the child was simply taking out the trash. Unlike the George Zimmerman case, the shooter here is not claiming self-defense. Greg Jarrett with the news in our New York City studios. Greg?
Yes, Shep. Unlike George Zimmerman, this defendant does not claim that he was attacked and had no choice but to shoot. Instead, John Spooner claims mental illness drove him to mistakenly believe that his young neighbor had stolen some guns from his home, and he says he didn't intend to kill him. But surveillance videotape showing Spooner deliberately confronting the young victim who has his hands up and then shooting him. And shooting again as the teenager ran away.
The boy started running away. I remember seeing a blood stain in his back. He had an orange t-shirt, and I remember seeing, he had a red spot on his back. And that's when I noticed that he had been shot.
Prosecutors say Spooner profiled his victim because he was black. During jury selection, several people said it would be hard for them to ignore the parallels to the Zimmerman case, not to mention the verdict. In fact, one man said, and I'll quote here, there was a group that was unhappy about the injustice in the Zimmerman case. They hoped there wouldn't be another injustice in this case. That man, in the end, was not selected for the final panel of 12 jurors.
Oh, my God, they're coming at us right now. They're coming at us right now.
All right, here we are.
They're coming around out here. Go. That's a very peaceful solution, officer.
WooNawooUp.com for solution. Brother Amun.
All that I know, I thank my God. I've got something within me. Yeah. Oh, yes. Something within me, Lord, 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 something within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, that banishes pain, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, something within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, I can't explain, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, all that I know, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, something within me. Oh, yes. When I have you got something, brother, Have we got that burning desire? I know we got something. I know we got Have you got something inside of you that others admire? Hey man, I've got it. I got something within me. Oh, something within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, something within me, Lord, 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 I got something within me, Lord, within me, Lord, I can't explain. Oh yeah, all that I know, I think my God, I've got something within me. Yeah. I've got something. I got it. Yeah, within me, something within me. Oh yeah, I got something within me. We know it's high, but I got it within me. Yeah. I know I got it within me. Oh, yes, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me. Way down, way down, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, something within me. Oh, yes, something within me, within me, something within me. Oh, yeah, you got something within me. We done inside, but I got it within me. I know I got it within me. Yes, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me. Way down, way down, although it's within me, Lord, within me, Lord, within me, Lord, something within me. Oh, yeah.
You must listen very closely to hear the message.
So two schools of thought exist: the greater and the lesser mysteries. You stay with me? Come on with it. Here we go. The greater mysteries teach as Yeshua, Isa, Jesus, Sananda, Tammuz, whatever name you want to give them, whatever culture again, that your path is back to the bosom of the Father. He says it. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one gets to the Father but by me. That he was merely the chauffeur to the Father. You follow that? But then he said, I and the Father are one. When you see me, you see the Father. And I am not greater than you. And you'll even do greater wonders than I. And I got to go prepare a place for you, that where I may be, you may. So certain men, or women, are destined for a journey from here back to the bosom of the Most High. And certain men and or women are destined to stay here and worship. Some beings are perfecting themselves to become God, and other beings will always worship God. People of the lesser mysteries are the religious people. They worship God in spirit and in truth, away from themselves. People of the greater mysteries are like the uncut stone that's on that side, ashlar, that becomes cut to become a perfect stone, become a part of the building blocks of the Most High, as you put it. You with me? Some of you here are of the lesser mysteries, and some of you here are of the higher mysteries. But the sad thing of it is, do you want the truth or you want me to play the game with everybody else? Come on with it. You know, I'm saying that because sometimes when you tell the truth, it's bitter to people. And they get mad at you. They don't really want to hear the whole truth. They want to hear what the man puts in books. And they're real good at referring to white man books. And quoting his books against anything a Nubian has to say. But I'll take you directly to the language so you can see it, so we can dispel this part of the spell right now.
Come on with it.
You with me?
Come on with it.
The unification is here. The power to bring all those forces, all those incarnations into one being to come back out and solve the problem, whether you accept me or not. And as I watch with a keen eye at all the teachings out there, I wait to hear that something new or that something special that would let me know that another God had incarnated. I want to hear things that would cue in that he is not or she is not trapped in the mind tetrahedron of persons, places, and things. And he's thinking outside of that realm, which would tell me he's a visitor, not a resident. He would do it a little differently. You understand me? I'll do it piece by piece. So this has got to go as old information.
We must wake up. The time is now. Soul is a gift. Wake up.
To have a mother for me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on. Look here. There was a time when I was all alone. I had a secret. Thought I was gone. Somebody dug me. Said, now see what you were doing, brother. Still ahead of me. But when I get burnt, I used to say, when I want my loving, my mother, she got to have. See, you got to have a mother for me. Yeah, come on. Good God. Look here. Do the popcorn and do the horse. Show everybody where you at. You got to be boss. But when you do your little thing, step in a small ring and jump back, baby. Jay Fine's gonna do his thing. Popcorn.
I look around this room and I see nothing but untapped potential. You have potential. You have... Oh, boy.
So make yourself comfortable. Oh, and Dad, you can watch all your favorite shows in here.
It looks like I can't. It's not connected to anything.
Yeah, Phil, we have DirecTV. So we don't have to see all those boxes and wires.
You got a problem with wires? You want a damn son?
Oh, no, Phil. Oh,
Dad.
boy.
What do you want here?
Stop laughing.
No, it tickles.
These Caucasus are messaging that they're being controlled like marionette puppets.
Jimmy? You're so old.
They're left behind. Lightspeed Sham, ascending and descending. Aksamas.
Yo.
Welcome to the family, Dad.
I've been hearing good things about Sprint's new network. Oh, it's unbelievable.
Who's your daddy now?
It's fast, right? Check it out. Got DirecTV. Now we can put TVs anywhere without looking at all those wires.
Man, I have cable.
Wires are so ugly.
Well, I mean, some wires are...
Some wires are what, honey?
Really great. Really great.
Oh.
Not weird at all.
Who said they were weird?
Nobody.
Nobody's saying they're weird.
I didn't. There's... Bro, I didn't say... Who said weird?
You did.
I didn't say weird. I said...
You're right. That's a fifth floor problem.
Not in my house. No. Not today.
Jimmy, how happy are folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico?
Happier than Dikembe Mutombo blocking a shot.
Nice.
Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
This is Garth and Leslie, a regular guy who invented Eros, a very smart air conditioner that learns your habits to save you money. This is Ben Kaufman, the CEO of Quirky. He's rubbing Garthen's regular guy feet because Garthen is far more important than Ben. At Quirky, real people invent all of our products. Ben just runs the company. Introducing Eros from Quirky and...
He said he'd make the devil your footstool, remember? It's important to notice there are 2 sacrificial lambs.
The Nissan Pathfinder with intuitive.
The tree in the garden, electing all the animals 2 by 2, that's Noah's flood. They're talking about their end.
Huh. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
What? Jesse, don't go! Jesse, no!
I'm sorry, Daisy, but I'm a loner, and a loner's gotta be alone.
Time up.
Geico.
The last of the 4 horses of the apocalypse, right?
¿Tuvo algún problema al llegar acá ahora?
No.
Estamos un poquito...
Madre.
Perfecto. Aquí están sus...
Cuidado.
¿Sí? Ah, perfecto.
Mire.